This is the part of JavaScript that I think we've all been waiting for, and this is where the exciting part of JavaScript comes in, because we're going to be able to actually tie our JavaScript to our HTML content, bring it all together, and we're able to create some dynamic interaction and get some user input and have users actually be able to change and update what's being presented to them. So this is where the DOM comes in. And in this lesson, we're going to introduce you to the DOM, and we're going to talk about how we can access elements using the DOM and accessing all of that information that's contained within the DOM. So it's a really good example of what the document object model is. So essentially, we've got our document. So this is our HTML document, and within every HTML document, we've got our root element. And then next, we've got head. We've got some content here in the head here, then we've got the body, and then we've got all of our elements that are contained within the body. So essentially what the DOM is going to give us the ability to do is to perform actions on any one of these HTML elements, but we're also able to see the values contained within them. So let's go open up our editor here, and we're going to console log out, or a console directory out, the document object. And this actually gets created by the browser, and it contains all of your HTML content here. So we don't have a lot of HTML content within this page, but we're going to be able to see it when we look into the DOM. So let's open up our editor, our browser here, and we're going to look through the DOM. So essentially we've got a value for URL. So this is contained within the DOM, and we can really easily output this out. So we can do something like console log document, and going back over to here, so we've got a reference for URL. So this is an object value, and this gives us the ability to actually access and utilize that value. So we saw that we can either pull out values or we can trigger off actions within the DOM. So this was actually being output, where we picked up the value from the DOM, brought it into our JavaScript, and now we're outputting in the console. So it's just that easy to pick up information. I could just as easily pick up the base URI, which is actually the same value here. I could pick up the character set that's being used. Any one of these values that we see here, I can pick up and I can bring into my JavaScript. And from then on, I could utilize it within my code. So if we want to figure out what URI we're on or what domain we're on, it's really easy to do, and we can pick that up within our JavaScript value. We can also see when the file was last modified, the node name, and so on. And over here, we've got all of this on, about, abort, on change, on click. So these are all the events, and these are all the different actions that users can take and we can pick up via the DOM. So all of this stuff here, we can set event listeners that can listen for any one of these triggers, that can trigger off an event and create that interactive capability within our JavaScript. So here we've got some more information, ready state information. We've even got, we can pick up the title of the web page, and all of this available within the DOM. Yes, you can dig deeper into the contents of your HTML page. So we've got all of our HTML elements here. So if we go to all, we've got essentially an array of 19 different items here, and we've got all of the different different elements that are available within our web page, and we can really easily access them starting with 0 all the way down to 18. So if you want to loop out all of the values here, so we saw that within the document we had all of the elements listed under all. So let's go take a look at that and see what gets listed out. So we see that it gets listed out in an array format, and we've got access to actually everything, all the different elements on our page. So including the JavaScript, interestingly enough, the JavaScript that we're actually looking at it in. And we've got a length value there. And we saw earlier how we can utilize that within a for loop. So let's set that out and set that up and list out all the values available in document all. So while x is less than document all, and we're going to lose the value of length there, so that was represented there as well, and increment x, so we can loop through all of these values. And maybe for now we're just going to console log out all of the return values. So we're going to do document all and output the value as it increments, and this way when I refresh it we see that we've got all of the contents nicely broken up that now we can utilize them within our JavaScript. So see everything is nicely broken up there. We see all the different elements, and then we see the contents of those elements and the values and so on. And this is where we can actually dig deeper into what's available within the DOM and start utilizing some of this amazing information that now we have access to via our JavaScript. So I'm going to show you some really neat stuff that you can do with the DOM in the upcoming lessons, including more access to these default values that are just sitting there ready to use, as well as some of the really amazing actions that you can have to create that interactivity that all of the web users are looking for these days. So all of this is coming up in the next set of lessons.